Thank you very much, Gabe, and bore da, good morning, colleagues. It's fantastic to see so many people here. I believe there's 320 this year, which is more than we've had for many years, and I really thank you for supporting the conference, and I know we'll have an excellent couple of days together. Can I officially warmly welcome you to the conference on behalf of ADSS Cymru? And I think Gabe has covered it. I will be delivering a section of this presentation in Welsh, so please have your earphones ready. I will say at the outset that this is a really key time for social care in Wales. We have some new and serious challenges, notably the highly pressurised care sector and some of our workforce shortages related to it. I believe we need to up our game in responding to these issues. This quote from the Chief Executive of the English NHS gives some context from the UK. And interestingly, he's recognising, as we do in Wales, that actually the proper and long-term resourcing for social care is absolutely essential to ensure that we, as partners, continue to support our citizens together. So that is one of the main challenges that face us. I wanted to say that at the outset. I will say a little more about that later. I can tell you from being involved in the planning for the conference with colleagues that you do have a real treat in store. I'm quite confident in saying that. Some of you know I was brought up in Northern Ireland, and when at some times of stress, my accent comes out, so it may do over the next few minutes. And when I was thinking about this, I was reminded by one of the province's best-known comedians, Frank Carson. Remember him? He had a couple of catchphrases, but one of them was called, "It's a cracker," okay? And I think we have a real firecracker of a program for you over the next couple of days. We have great quality, variety, and richness of conference speakers, and I think that will make our 2 days in Llandudno highly likely to be the best conference you go to this year. You can mark it at the end, but I'm quite confident in that. Just want to recognise the fantastic job that Sue and the team did last year, and we know they set a high bar to match in relation to that, but we will do our very best, and with your enthusiastic involvement, we will seek to match that. On a personal note, can I say what a great honour it is for me to serve as the president of ADSS Cymru and to chair this wonderful event. It's been my great pleasure to work in Wales for many years, and I was adding them up, it's 26, and I've worked in social care in different roles as social worker, team manager, service manager, head of service, and latterly director in 3 counties, 4 if you include Clwyd, and worked in both children's and adult services. I know that we have something really special in Wales. We have a working environment that values partnership, participation, and actually engenders real progress in services. I think this conference will always remain central to that approach in social care, and our discussions of the next 2 days will carry on that tradition by putting social care at the centre stage, by being creative, and fully centred on making a difference to the people and communities to whom we are accountable. I'd like to thank colleagues present in ADSS Cymru, the business unit. There's a bit of an echo here, is that okay? The governance board, our executive council, and heads of service who have worked tirelessly over the last year to actually ensure our work programme actually makes a difference on the ground. And what we want to achieve is greater consistency, improvement of professional and overall social care practice across Wales. I'd also like to thank colleagues in Flintshire Council, my leader councillor Aaron Shotton, especially my cabinet member, Councillor Chris Jones. I don't know where you are, Chris. You're just there. Who's actually been loyally working with me, coming to this conference for at least 5 years, and I really thank you for your support. Also to Chief Executive, Colin Everett, and corporate colleagues in Flintshire that have supported my commitment to ADSS Cymru as President. I think it's right that councils recognise that both elected members and officers need to play their part in senior networks, and I thank the council for the support. Lastly, around Flintshire, my team, Craig MacLeod, Susie Lunt and Jane Davis, who inevitably are picking up a lot of the work on the ranch. I know some of you are here, and I'd like to thank you very warmly for your support. Our conference title is People at the Heart of What We Do. It's about remembering that by having people at the centre, what we do is firstly what we're here for, and secondly, it will bring about the best results for us. Why did many of us on a personal level come into social care or into local politics? It's to make a difference to people's lives and to our communities, hence the actual title of the conference. We do well to remind ourselves of that over the next 2 days, and as I've said, I think we'll refresh our thinking and hear some new perspectives on the crucial role that social care plays in our communities. Our work only matters if it makes direct benefits for the people of Wales, hence the title of the conference, and I know our speakers and contributors will take that forward. In Welsh, yn Cymraeg, flein aff un ein meddwl wrth ganolbwyntio ar y thema o bobl wrth raidd i'r hein i'r dim un ei wneud yw wrth gwrs egwyddorion athwedol yr theff gwasanaethau cymdeithasol a chlesant. Chlais a reolaeth, roi'r unigollen a'i hangenion ynghanol a gofal. Atal ach eraith gonor gwasanaethau comunodol sy'n atal y dwisad mewn angen criticol. Lles cefnogi pobl aros, iach, dda ac annibynnol. Cyd gynhyrchu annog unigollen I wneud yn fwy yn cynllunio ar ddarparaeth o fasanaethau. Mae'r ddau diwrnod nesaf yn rhoi cwfflu un a gymryd stoc o'r hyn rydym wedi I gofflawnau hyd. Yn hyn yn Chymru, mewn perthynas ar egwyddorion hyn i'r bedd llawer o'n gweithdai yn orthangos. In English and Saesneg. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, we know there remains so much to do in relation to the implementation of the Social Services and Wellbeing Act. We need to remember we're only at the early stages and there remains a great challenge for us to ensure social care is strengthened and for our communities to be supported. I'd like to pay tribute to the leadership of the previous Minister for Health and Social Services, Mark Drayford. The Minister, in his full commitment to improving services with a clear agenda of a strong social care sector, worked in a fully integrated way with health services to promote the best outcomes for people. Initiatives such as the Enhanced Intermediate Care Fund were a clear indication of this, an example of parity of funding, which is important. In this context, we're very pleased and honoured that the new Minister for Social Service and Public Health, Rebecca Evans, very much wanted to support this conference. For very unavoidable personal reasons, she's not able to be here tomorrow, but I know the Cabinet Secretary, Vaughan Gethin, will be actually delivering her presentation by video link, which we'll see tomorrow morning. We very much welcome the new minister and the new team of ministers, and we as a professional organisation want to actually work with them urgently to actually address some of the high-profile social care challenges which face our services and communities, and I'll mention a couple of those in a minute. We are again very delighted to welcome our senior colleagues from Welsh Government, Andrew Goodall, the Director General for Health and Social Services, and our colleague Albert Heaney, Director of Social Services and Integration. Both colleagues will be providing us the vital strategic national perspectives, and Albert will be providing it at the end, so please stay right to the end tomorrow. And we are very fortunate to have such a close and fruitful dialogue with our senior Welsh Government colleagues. It's a great asset and a key issue for us in Wales. Our keynote speaker is Lisa Leahy, who will be speaking shortly. Lisa will provide in her address a really compelling presentation as to how we as leaders can make things happen, how we recognize change, how we recognize why that's resisted, and what we can do about it. When I heard that, I was very interested in that, because that's probably essential listening for people like me and us who on a week-to-week and day-to-day basis seek to move services forward, be it a hospital, a care home, a service, a day service, and so that should be, I'm sure, very interesting for us. Our conference theme, People at the Heart of What We Do, needs to focus on the people we serve, and we clearly cannot do that without working directly with people who use services and, of course, partners who work with us to provide them. And citizens and partners are with us today and will shape the conference content. Tomorrow morning, we have a powerful presentation from Voices from Care Cymru, when Chris Dunn and Dan Pitt will actually give the thought-provoking insight from children and young people who are looked after or have been looked after in Wales. In a very short while, Sian Jones, supported by Jacqueline Vaughan-Thomas, will give her story of personal growth as a person who has accessed mental services through to a paid role as a graphic designer in a flourishing publishing social enterprise, Double Click, in my own county, Flintshire. Our service and conferences must be and should be outward looking. That's particularly important in the context of what's happened in the last week, in my view. And we have major presentation from key partners that haven't had a large presence here before. We have housing colleagues, general practitioners, the English directors of adult services, university colleagues, charitable trusts, and the National Safeguarding Board will all speak from this stage. And I know colleagues will provide real food for thought in relation to some of the challenges ahead. The input of our elected members is a key and equal and fundamentally important part of this conference. And this year, WLGA colleagues have come up with a really new, exciting slot, which will take place tomorrow, which is a debate of the opportunities for the wider body of local authorities promoting the well-being in areas such as finance, housing, and other corporate services, whilst we as public sector bodies are under severe financial pressure. As I said at the start of this speech, there are some urgent priorities for social care in 2016. And before I finish, I'd like to make my commitment and that of ADSS Cymru as a robust and growing leadership body for adults and children's social services in Wales to really add our weight to work with partners to address some of these key nitty-gritty problems. Some things are always with us, and clearly many of those we talk about, but some time-specific challenges I would like to leave you with. Firstly, I believe we have an urgent issue in responding to acute care sector shortages, and we need to develop new and innovative service offers in partnership with other colleagues, and we need to think about resourcing that over time. Secondly, we need to use our organisational expertise to work on underdeveloped partnerships, as I've said, to actually work with colleagues in primary care, psychiatrists, housing, police and education colleagues to shape service outcomes for people. Thirdly, we need to provide further sustained leadership to children's services. Issues like children on the edge of care, advocacy, adoption and fostering, and the strategy for looked after children remain fundamentally important, and we need to actually support that. Fourthly, a massive opportunity, but obviously we're aware of some of the pressures around workforce, and we need to give a strong professional workforce lead, harnessing the opportunity of Social Care Wales to achieve a fundamental improvement in the status and profile of social care as a profession and as a whole workforce. Fifthly, we need to promote housing support, housing-related services, and telecare to help support people and their carers. And finally, we need to further develop a range of services that fully meet the changing and developing needs of people with dementia and the people that support them in our communities. I believe we need to commit to these priorities, and we will do that through our work at this conference, through the practice seminars that ADSS Cymru support, and through the many work streams that we lead. We know there is strong leadership in Wales in social care to work with us to take advantage of the unique opportunity that the Social Services and Wellbeing Act and the Regulation and Inspection of Social Services Act, I say that quickly, gives us as a professional community. Here I must give enormous credit to the work of Rhiann Hughes-Williams. Is Rhiann here this morning? I believe she is. The retiring Chief Executive of the Care Council, who has done so much personally to remind us of the crucial importance of workforce and done so much to strengthen social care workforce in Wales. Rhiann has also personally been a great source of support to me and to us in ADSS Cymru in planning this and previous conferences. Can we thank Rhiann and wish her well? Now, is Imelda here? Ah, right, okay. I also recognise the work of our hugely respected Chief Inspector of Social Services, Imelda Richardson, for leading our inspection body through such a critical period of change and bringing about much improved outcomes for our citizens. Many of us just recently received Imelda's letter informing us of her intention, in her words, to make the difficult decision of retiring from the job that she loves. And we will, I'm sure, want to thank her and wish her well. Can we do that? We are a community big enough to have influence, but small enough to talk together. We have a strong Welsh Government committed to social care. We have local authorities determined to express their community leadership role. We have a proud third sector tradition, strong independent sector providers, an engaged inspectorate, and of course a further great opportunity with the wider social care Wales, led by my predecessor Sue Evans, who we know will further develop this strong organisation. And I know she'll remember her friends too. This partnership will be very much needed in responding to the challenges I outlined, securing a social care workforce of the future from which we and our families can benefit. We need to continue to show strong leadership to support our workforce. I think we all pay tribute to the army, the unsung army of workers across Wales who on a daily basis make an enormous difference to the lives of children, adults, and the carers and families. We need to create the working environment for them to thrive and to ensure that they're here for us, our families, and our communities when we need them. In closing, I know you will all learn something new at this conference, be it from a children's or adult's perspective, from a health or social care tradition, or whether from the statutory, voluntary, or independent sector viewpoint. Let us be inspired to keep people at the heart of what we do and to strengthen and enhance our Welsh social care offer as a service of which we can all be proud. Thank you, Diolch yn fawr. Thank you.